If you want to learn more about outdoor and water activities here on Guam, then I'm glad you're here because today's video is all about hiking on Guam and getting in the water. Hi guys, I'm Danielle, or Dani for short, and for today's video I'm going to be sharing all about the hot spots here on Guam for hiking, fishing, snorkeling, and scuba diving, as well as a few of my favorites. So here on Guam, there are a number of different hiking trails that you can take advantage of here that are absolutely awesome. But for me personally, I prefer doing hikes that have a very rewarding end, such as like it leads to a beach or it leads to a snorkeling spot, but that's just me. So the first one that I want to talk about is the Tarzan Pools hike. This trailhead is located in the village of Jonya, so a little more further south, along Route 17, also known as Cross Island Road. And it's really not that long of a hike, but as with any hike, I would recommend you just bring yourself some water and some snacks, as well as some good, stable, sturdy shoes. At only about 20 to 25 minutes in length, so it's not that bad of a hike. And once you get to the end, there are these freshwater pools. So do be careful because you may sink if you don't swim enough. There's a little cliff area that you can jump off into, a rope swing as well. And then there's these little mini waterfalls that I feel like they're kind of like almost like little mini personal pools for yourself that you can get a massage in. But overall, really awesome spot to go with a bunch of friends. Now the next hike I want to talk about is the one to Ague Cove, and that one has to be my favorite so far because I feel like it's the most rewarding, but to each their own. This one's located in the areas of Harmon and Dedido up north. So if you're going off of Route 1 and turning onto Route 3, you would just drive maybe about like 4 to 5 minutes, and then you would have to make a slight U-turn to get to the trailhead. But as you drive in, you just park your car along the gate. And though the sign may say no trespassing, I know it's intended more so for they don't want any cars driving any further, because in the past people have dumped a lot of trash along the side of the road, and that is some private property. But hikers are welcome there. All right, you gonna lead the way? So you may think you want to go down the left-hand side, but trust me, go down the right-hand side. It's a lot easier, and then you'll start to see the markers. And then a quick note, before you enter any jungle, just out of respect, you always just kind of ask for permission, something along the lines of, we're not here to bring any harm, we mean no disrespect to the property, and you should be fine. The Tatamona will leave you alone. As I mentioned, this has to be one of our favorite hikes because our dog also loves going on this. It's really not that bad either. But if you're not very agile, I would recommend you go with a group because there are some steep areas where you'd have to hold on to some rope or at least get low to the ground. But it's about 15 minutes down, and at the end there's this beautiful cove with the waves crashing up against the reef. So it's a nice snorkeling spot, but you can also just relax on the rocks. Because it is rocky, I would recommend wearing some, good shoes as well. You can't really walk around there barefoot, but bring your fins, bring your snorkeling gear, and yeah, get out in the water. It's a really, really rewarding spot, and of course, an awesome view of the ocean. There are a few hikes too that I haven't been on personally, but have come highly recommended by other people, such as Pocket Cave, Scuba Falls, Mount Lam Lam, and Seti Bay, just to name a few. So those I'll definitely have to, check out on a visit back here. And then it's always good to follow some Facebook groups that focus on Guam hiking spots, such as the Guam Hiking Safety Group, as well as the Guam Boonie Stoppers page. For snorkeling here on Guam, you can pretty much snorkel anywhere that's a little more shallow. The beauty of it is that the water is very clear, and we are also protected by the reef. So you're not really within reach of any strong currents. Just stay out of those areas if you're not that strong of a swimmer. But these are just a few of my favorite snorkeling spots that I wanted to share. The first is at Old Wives Beach. This one is located on the Naval Base Guam, so you would have to get either a visitor's pass or have military base access. But once you swim out, it's so crazy how deep it gets, so quickly. But again, like I said, it's crazy because the water is so clear, so you can see straight to the bottom. A lot of time, if you were to go out more to the left of that beach, then you might be able to see some turtles. But if you swim around to the right side, it opens up into almost like a cave area where there's a giant rope swing available. I would recommend just be a little careful swimming in this area because it can get slightly rough if the current's strong. So we try to go when it's a little calmer. But that's a neat spot either way. I mean, just the view from up there, it just makes you feel like this. I'm sorry, but I feel like Ariel in The Little Mermaid, when the waves crash up against her. But when you're just looking out to the ocean, I mean, it is just so gorgeous. And then of course for the thrill seekers, they will enjoy that rope swing like to the end of the day. The next snorkeling spot is also located on the naval base down south, and that is Gab Gab Beach. And this one I like because it's really safe, and like once you see the bottom get deeper and deeper, it just kind of opens up to like, blue, just straight blue out in front of you. It's really, it can be a little like eerie at first, but it is breathtaking at the same time. But this location is probably where I've seen the most variety of things. I have seen like little squids there, turtles, barracudas, but nothing ever bothers you. And I'm one to talk because I'm usually scared of anything in the water, but this is definitely one of my favorite snorkeling spots. And the third spot that I wanted to mention is Fisheye, and this one is located in Assen and Pedi, so again a little bit more down south. But you can easily walk straight out into the water. You have to walk a little ways before you actually get into deeper water where you can actually start snorkeling and swimming. But this one is also another spot where there are a ton of fish. On rare occasions, we've seen blacktip sharks, but again, you'd be surprised nothing ever bothers you if it doesn't have a reason to. But the cool thing is you don't even have to really go out that far into the water to see a lot of stuff. And one note I definitely want to include is that a lot of these spots that you might go snorkeling at don't have an outdoor shower available. So I would always recommend, filling up like a big jug of water, or, like one of those 5-gallon things of water, and bring that so you can rinse off any kind of like salt residue. If you're like me, I have sensitive skin. I get itchy if I have salt drying on it. So that's always a good thing to have on hand. For fishing, there aren't exactly like designated fishing spots, but a lot of the times you'll see a lot of guys just kind of posted up at random spots, either, kicking back with their pole stuck in the rocks and just waiting for a catch, or you'll see like some with the traditional like, full-on taladza, the big net, and just walking along the shores waiting for a catch. But if you're more into boat charters, then there are a few companies that you can check out and see what they offer. There's Shut Up and Fish Guam, Aquaman Charters of Guam, and also Diverseaty Adventures. And you can check out any of these companies. I know there are a few others that I might have missed, but you can definitely check out some of these guys and see what locations they hit up and what prices they offer. And the same thing goes if you're trying to get scuba certified. You can check out some places such as Axe Murderer Tours, that's located in Ague, Diverseaty Adventures, and I had mentioned them before, but they also do scuba certification and boat dives. You can also check out MDA, the Micronesian Divers Association, and they're located in Pedi and Assen. And now I want to share some of the fun dives that I've done personally. We've taken a boat dive through MDA, and one was to the American Tanker. That one starts off a little bit murky, but once you get to the actual site, it's really, it's a little bit eerie when you first see, the actual tanker itself, but you're able to kind of swim around the entire structure as well as go into some of the compartments. I never actually did because I'm already scared of like the water, I'm already scared of the open water. What more going into a closed container? But that definitely was a fun dive to do with a group of friends. The second boat dive we did was to the Blue Hole, and this one is a very popular dive, but you basically drop down about 125, 130 feet. And it happens so quickly, but when you look up, the sight is really neat because all you see is just this like hole of like light from the sun beaming down. And once you do get to the end of the Blue Hole, you gotta start already kind of gradually coming up because you can start feeling a little hazy, and which is normal, but it's highly recommended you go with a group of friends as well, so that way you all can kind of keep an eye out for each other, and then you kind of like coast along the ocean floor for a bit before coming back up to the surface. And then the third dive we've done didn't require a boat. You can take a boat if you wanted to, but we've been able to just launch out of Gab Gab 1, which is the beach located on Naval Base. And so we've swam out to the area Gab Gab 2 and then gone down from there with our scuba gear. And once you get down there into the Gab Gab 2, dive, then you are just kind of surrounded by a whole new breed of fish, because I'm not too sure why, but the fish get bigger in this area. And there are some like fish feeding tubes, so it's very frequented by a lot of species there, including some nurse sharks. And that one, at first you may think it's a little scary, but they kind of just, swim around you, mind their own business. And, but yeah, that's always been another very overwhelming, in a good way, a very overwhelming dive to try. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, then please give it a like. And if you'd like to check out some of my other content, I've done other videos on fitness and recreation on Guam, restaurants and dining, nightlife, events and entertainment, and so on and so forth, then definitely subscribe to the channel and check those out as well. Until then, I will see you in the next video. Bye.